It was bizarre, it was strange, it was wacky.
Coming up, CFL craziness.
It's the one thing we've never discussed, I'm pretty certain, is a fight between a pair of 70-year-old men.
From fan interference
I thought it was a very funny thing to do.
to unforgettable blunders.
He's going to be on the blooper reel for 100 years, definitely that.
And running out of footballs?
If someone happens to have a ball, if they could bring it down to the field, please.
The wackiest moments in CFL history starts now.
The kick hit the scoreboard again.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another SportsCenter special. I'm your host, Marissa Roberto. Thanks for tuning in. We're taking a look back at some of the wackiest moments in CFL history. Now, it's a big moment in the spotlight when you sing the national anthem at a sporting event, and sometimes under the bright lights, you get a tad nervous or maybe just simply forget the tune.
Dennis Park was a Las Vegas lounge singer. I don't know if he'd ever heard the Canadian national anthem. Even though it's in the United States, this is still the Canadian Football League. This had to be the most embarrassing moment in all of CFL expansion.
With growing hearts we see thee rise, the true and strong and free.
Instead of "O Canada," it was more like "O Christmas Tree."
From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
National anthem is, that should be a no-brainer.
From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Nobody in the stadium really knew it, except for the Canadian players on our sideline.
Not like it was in front of 50,000 people, thank God. You know, it was only in front of 5,000.
God keep our land glorious and free.
You couldn't help but laugh, but it was one of those moments. Wow, that's embarrassing.
O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
I actually thought it was pretty funny.
He felt terrible about it, from what I understand. Dennis Park, he had a chance to make it right, and he did.
We stand on guard.
Yeah, that's one CFL fans will never forget. All right, now when you make the highlight reel on these SportsCenter specials, well, 2 thumbs up for you, obviously, but in this case, we got a low light, and it comes from an Argonaut and a Lions game.
This guy is going to be on highlight reels for a long time.
We all make mistakes. Some mistakes are just more visible than others.
Trying to get to the red zone. Pump fake. Critter's in trouble. Fumbled the football. And the Lions, no, they don't have it back. It's still loose. Ronald Flemings has it, and he's got a touchdown.
I saw the ball on the ground, so my defensive lineman never hold the ball ever, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go score, right?
Oh, my goodness. You better pick it up. He fumbled the ball at the goal line.
I don't know how it got loose from him. Maybe it got stripped.
My man, Ron, how'd it happen, brother?
When I changed speeds, I guess the ball came out right before the end zone.
Is that a touchdown or not? I think Ronald Flemings fumbled the ball before we got to the end zone.
Yeah, that's why we don't carry the ball, right? You know, that's why we're big guys go after the quarterback.
We're going to take a look at this right away and see if Ronald Flemings lost the ball before he breaks the plane to the goal line or not.
Oh, he lost it.
Ball's out.
That's a fumble.
How could that have possibly happened? That runs through my mind all the time.
Yeah, I blew that chance.
Ronald Flemings had a touchdown and lost the football.
Of course, you're a little embarrassed and stuff.
Oh, my goodness. This is something you do not see every day.
This is unbelievable.
I just messed up. That's all it is. I just fell on my hands. That's all that happened.
Can you believe this? One of the most ridiculous plays of the season.
He was not showboating, I can promise you that. It just happened.
Later on in the locker room, we definitely had some fun with him.
There might have been some Leon Lett whispers in his ear.
Can you say Leon Lett? That is crazy.
Yeah, we definitely still would be giving to him. You know, we definitely still, to this day.
If I saw her on now, I don't think I'd bring it up at all.
It's kind of all water under the bridge to me. You know, it's funny to me. You know, for the first week I was probably kind of upset about it, or you know, kind of like a little touchy about it. But after that, it's kind of like whatever, man. You know.
He's gonna be on the blooper reel for 100 years. Definitely that.
Honestly, the first thing that went through my mind was, what's going on? You know, I mean, does everybody realize, you know, this game's over? We've won the Grey Cup here.
2nd and 31 yards. Now he throws downfield. Oh, incomplete. Intended for Ben Cahoon.
Look at the reaction.
Well, the head coach, Machocha, celebrating already.
When I was the only one that was celebrating, I came to the conclusion quite quickly that there's something wrong here, and I may have messed this thing up.
But there's still one down left.
But I must have been clearly the only one that was operating under the premise that it was 3rd down, so clearly it was quite funny.
We've seen just about everything in this Grey Cup.
Well, yeah.
I didn't even know until after the game, you know, when it was on TV and everybody was showing him kind of dropping to his knees and celebrating, and there was still one more down to play.
The Eskimos one play away from Grey Cup victory. Calvillo facing the blitz, in trouble, rolling away, desperation, kicks it away, ball in play, A.J. Gass has it, flags are down, that's it, and Danny Machocha, the rookie head coach, wins his first Grey Cup.
We can sit back and laugh at it now because we ended up winning that game, but you know, unfortunately for him, it was one play too early.
We had a team dinner afterwards, and that's where you know, all the fun started, and a lot of people within the organization got their money's worth. Let me say that.
The first Grey Cup played in overtime since 1961, and he is beside himself.
It was clearly funny at the time, and having said that, you know, I wouldn't mind reliving that a few more times over my coaching career, given the opportunity.
Welcome back to the show, and Shaun White will always be known as one of the biggest characters in the CFL and a trusted kicker in the league, but sometimes the wind, it wins.
It was just a crazy windy day. I've never kicked in conditions like that.
3rd and 2, and Jim Pop does send the field goal unit on. It's been an adventure for Shaun White of late.
Just coming out of the hotel that day, you just see the wind. I was just, oh no, it's going to be one of those days.
2 yards out. Able to put that through, but there are flags on the field.
I made that one, but someone lined off wrong. We had an illegal formation, so we had to re-kick. So I'm, oh, this could be a problem.
Is kicking into a stiff breeze, but still from 27 yards out. And White puts that up, and it is going to be knocked down and didn't even reach the goal line.
I hit it exactly the same way. I thought I hit it perfect, and I saw the ball just go up. And I've never seen a ball just stop in the air, go hard right and backwards.
If you're thinking we're overplaying the significance of the wind, watch this. That one knocked down completely by the wind. That hit a wind tunnel.
Yeah, it was nuts, and it makes it tough to play football, but it's CFL, and that's the elements are part of the game.
It just died in the middle of the air. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
I was watching that game the next day. It was on the Monday night, right? So I had Shea Emery with me and my long snapper Marty, and we were just watching the game. We were all pretty down in the dumps because we lost the game the day before. And Come On Man comes on and usually picks me up and makes me happy to watch that. But yeah, then he brings up Canada.
Hey, playoffs north of the border in Guelph. The field goal kicking was really fun. Shaun White's a pretty good kicker, Montreal. We're going to try a 22-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it's good. It's good. Come on, man.
So Shea and Marty both kind of looked at me like, ugh. They just didn't know how I was going to react. But I stood up in my seat. I'm like, yes, I'm on, come on, man. So we all start chest pumping, high-fiving. It was great.
From Wacky wins to a wacky sequence, and this lateral play effort between Saski and Edmonton was so wacky, it actually almost worked.
Oh, I mean, it was truly wackiness at its finest.
Edmonton hasn't won here since 2001, and they're one play away from changing all of that.
What are the chances that you're possibly going to lose this football game? I would think, you know, they're slim to none, and Slim is about to leave the building here. That's when all the excitement started to kick in.
We'll see what happens here.
Edmonton pressures it forward. Butler steps up, and he's going to be sacked.
We started walking on the field, and the crowd was going, and then there was just a huge huddle of all the linemen, and the quarterback was on the ground, and then...
The play's still alive. Butler is going to rear back. He pitches now to Ken and Keith. Keith still going. Keith still going with it. The play is not over yet. They lateral it back, this time to Andy Fantuz. Fantuz laterals. This is a lateral. This play is still alive.
And now I'm starting to wonder, this can't actually be happening to us.
It's Grant, and he throws it back to Ken and Keith. Can it happen? No! Inside the 10-yard line.
It was bizarre. It was strange. It was wacky.
Let's just let this one breathe a little bit. There's I mean, I think the ball should have been down there. I don't know why this play continued on.
It felt like the play took literally a couple minutes, and I mean, just standing on the sideline, you're helpless.
We should have music to this.
I'm just waiting for the band to come out from the end zone.
Andy Fantuz ends up making a good play here because he gets way across the field.
Right near the end, I remember Kenton got the ball back about the 15, and he had myself and then Rocky were both in like the rugby lateral positions.
He had an opportunity with 2 or 3 guys to his right to pitch it out. Oh my!
Looking back, if he would have passed it to me, I would have scored, or I could have given it to Rocky and he would have scored for sure.
Danny Machocha is just going through the gamut of emotions right here on this play.
Danny's one of those guys that wears his emotions on his sleeve.
My heart was pounding.
Think back to the Grey Cup last year when he thought he'd wanted a play earlier. Uh-oh, no, it won't happen to me again.
They were probably one lateral away from, you know, taking that streak from 5 years to 6 years.
And that play will be on all the highlight shows tonight, and had it gone in, it would have been the most memorable play of this CFL season without question.
Geez, we should have had it.
And while Saskatchewan missed a prime opportunity to convert on that wacky sequence, the Riders enjoyed some good fortune here on this play. Sometimes you just gotta go with it.
So 5 for Stanback, a 2nd and 5 here for Rourke, looking to throw it, and he does, but no, it is not caught. And it's knocked off. A.J. Allen has it in his hands, and he's taking it back for a Rough Rider touchdown. What a start for the green and white as it bounced in and out of the hands of William Stanback, and ultimately into the hands of A.J. Allen.
BC puts any points on the board. That hits the scoreboard. It's bouncing down to the 35. Flintoff hammered that right into the Jumbotron here at BC Place.
The kick hit the scoreboard, which is pretty odd. We're going to redo everything. We'll redo the play. We'll reset the clock at 2:44 with a new 20-second clock. It's just a redo.
Ben Major just saying what we're all thinking. Flintoff set to kick it away again. Janarian Grant, who almost had a house call last time out. Uh-oh, that hits the scoreboard. Will Ben Major give us that call he had a few weeks back?
What has he got? What has he got here?
Here we go.
The kick hit the scoreboard again. It's 3rd down.
Damon Duvall for the game winner.
We had our kick-out team in because we know if they missed it and got it through the end zone, then we'd lose the game. So we want to get it out of the end zone.
If Montreal misses and they don't feel first option is you run it out, get it just past your goal line and kneel down. Second option, if you don't think you can run it out, is you kick it back out into the field of play.
36 yards for the win. 1 point would also win it. Here we go. Duvall, the kick is up. It is wide. Knocked down. Now they have to kick it out. And they do.
Got to get 5 yards.
Now Duvall kicks it back through.
Got to kick it out again.
They will kick it out, but they don't get it out. Who has the football?
I think we were all a little confused. It was just kicking it back and forth. They kicked it, now we kicked it, now they kicked it, not really knowing what was going on.
It's a touchdown, Montreal.
I remember after the game, everybody kind of standing around and nobody really knew if the game was over or what had happened.
At the back of the end zone.
Under review. We'll take a look at it.
Every time the ball is kicked, the man receiving the kick, he has to be given a 5-yard radius to receive it. At the time the ball's touched, the Alouettes are more than 5 yards away. No problem there, because the Argos touched it at the back of the end zone. When Damon Duval catches it here, the Argos have given him 5 yards. No problem here. But now when Duval kicks it back into the end zone, this is the one we need to look at, and it looks like no problem because the ruling is made at the point where the Argos first touched the ball. The Alouettes were more than 5 yards away. Grant Shaw made a heck of an effort to try and get this one out, but this is going to be a touchdown. Alouettes win.
The ruling on the field stands. Montreal will now kick a convert.
I got multiple calls from guys back in the States, like, what is going on with the Canadian League?
It was upsetting to lose that game, but looking back on it now, it was fun to be part of it.
It's a touchdown, Montreal, on a bizarre way to end the football game.
Welcome back to the wackiest CFL moments of all time. Now let's delve into the archives and rewind to Grey Cup 1950. Athletes are tough and are willing to play in tough conditions, like in the Mud Bowl.
The 1950 Grey Cup Championship was played in Toronto's Varsity Stadium.
It had all the makings of a close game. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, runaway winners in the West, against the Toronto Argonauts, upset winners in the East. But as so often happens in the Canadian game, nature intervened.
It snowed the night before, so there was about 6 inches of wet snow on the field.
They had cleared the snow off the field. Not only cleared the snow off, they cleaned all the grass off. They had bulldozers out there.
You can imagine the mess that was left after that.
Going to be a pass. Takes plenty of time. It's a long one on the far side, and it's intercepted by the Argos. Charlie.
It's like playing in a pigsty of some kind. It's just slop.
The old saying is you can't tell the players without a program doesn't apply today. The program wouldn't help you this afternoon.
Things happened in that game that never happened before. Guy almost drowned.
And a player is hurt over in that pool of water.
Whether he was drinking or drowning, I don't know which.
Well, you know, there's a picture of Heck Creighton and a football player bending down, looking at Tinsley and rolling him over. I was the guy.
I slipped on the turf, you know, and it fell on the side of my face.
Well, he looked like he was unconscious.
He was laying still, I must say, but he came back and played in the game.
It was a real classic because where would you ever play in conditions like that? That was 1 in a million.
I got in because a police officer loaned me his badge, and I said I was security, and that's how I got in.
For Hamilton, this is a fake. He throws a pass intended for Pitts. Intercepted by Ray Bubble, who may go all the way again. He's going to be cut off near the sideline. He was tripped by a man standing in front of the Winnipeg bench.
Bear in mind, I was a little impaired.
Bobble has come back to the Winnipeg bench, and he is boiling, and no wonder.
And just as a matter of course, I stuck my foot out.
I thought it was one of the Winnipeg players, but found out it was a fan that was having a real good time. You can't get too mad at a guy like that.
He fell down. I expected him to come back, throw his arms around me, and say, "You have got to be the funniest guy in North America." Instead of that, he wanted to assault me.
The fact that this was a man who works in the legal profession, who you would assume would have respect for the rules.
Being a defense attorney and tripping somebody has nothing whatsoever to do with each other.
I'd be interested to see him prosecute that case in the court of sporting law, that a fan, as a guy is running down the field, could trip a guy and stop a play. Bizarre.
There's been many games where I've been standing on the sideline, both as a player or as a spectator, and thought about that. Thought about the fact that I could stick my foot out here and be as infamous as that guy. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often because there's nothing that would make you crazier as a player than to have that occur.
I thought it was a very funny thing to do. And in fact, it was the only interesting part of the whole game.
The 1956 Grey Cup, time remaining about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Parker running wide, trying to get away from Dwyer. He does, he's over!
He was looking back at the quarterback, and I just reached over and grabbed the ball out of his arm, and I think he was a little startled.
There is general confusion here at this moment. The delay is undoubtedly occasioned by the fact that we don't have a football for the conversion. It was lost somewhere over on the far side of the field when Parker, going out of bounds after scoring the touchdown, dropped the ball.
I think I had the odd adult beverage at that time, and it just seemed like the right thing to do. I just took it, and while I was still facing the field, put it up under my coat and turned around and walked away like nothing had happened.
Whoever the stadium announcer was, I believe at Varsity Stadium, saying and sounding in classic 1950-ish announcer voice, if someone happens to have a ball, if they could bring it down to the field, please, or something like that.
If somebody happens to have a spare football and is nearby Varsity Stadium in Toronto, you might run in and hand it to the officials, or they might put a helmet down and try booting that over.
It's bizarre. That is just totally bizarre.
Well, they somewhere along the line today have lost total then of 18 pieces of pigskin.
Can you imagine running out of footballs during a championship game?
The ball game is over, ladies and gentlemen. The officials have decided to let the conversion go. Edmonton beat Montreal 51-27.
That's what makes CFL history what it is. Glorious.
We've seen some of the most bizarre, wild, and wacky moments in CFL history during this show. And we have one more segment for you, a wacky altercation.
Joe Cap and Angelo Muscat. These two came to blows at a Canadian Football League luncheon. The video of their fight has gone viral.
I greeted Joe Cap with, "Joe, baby, I haven't seen you in 48 years," and he says, "Go."
We were supposed to be on the stage together, and so I took flowers up, and I offered it to him, and he cussed at me.
Well, I'm pretty well noted for not taking any. Finally, he dangled right in my face, and I took my cane and I whacked him.
I got a cane shot to my side of my head. Obviously, you defend yourself.
He punched me, and that's when I went down. And when I went down, he kicked me in the butt. I think it's completely idiotic.
Well, we invited both players to the show. Joe Cap said he didn't want to see this guy again. He didn't say no, he said hell no.
He hit me on the side of the head with a cane.
Is this the weapon?
This the weapon.
Yeah. If you take this and I bang you in the side of the head.
You think I'm going to stand someone there? What are we doing talking about a play 48 years ago?
What are you doing fighting about a play 48 years ago?
Well, I'm going to protect myself, I'll tell you.
I've never carried this grudge. He's carried a grudge for 48 years. Yeah, I hold the grudge for a long time.
It's the one thing we've never discussed, I'm pretty certain, is a fight between a pair of 70-year-old men. That's never happened, has it?
No, these are unique 70-year-olds.
As a grown man, I don't want another grown man presenting me with flowers either.
Here's our offering to Park. Get out of here. No, you take the... Here's my cane, and you go...
If you're going to give me something, give me a nice cigar. Give me a bottle of Crown Royal or something.
Scotch.
This is sad.
I'm Angelo Muscat, and someone jams a flower in your face. You think I'm going to take that? You take a shot at me, I'm going to take a shot at you.
Don't you grow out of this stuff at one point in time?
I think that we should get more fights between 70-year-olds.
One of the wackiest altercations you will ever see. That's our show. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.